close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.
Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how I recreate the look of Natalie Halcro. Some of you may know her from the reality TV show Wags, but she is probably more famous off of Instagram. I want to recreate her look because she has this certain style to her makeup that is very distinct. And by that I mean she has an intense crazy highlight underneath her eyes, and the rest of her outer part of her face is very bronzed, and I just think her makeup look is it stands out a lot. So some people like it, some people hate it. If you hate it, then totally just skip over this tutorial. But if you've been curious on how she gets this crazy bright highlight and this really eye-opening eye look, then of course you can just keep on watching this tutorial. So if you guys have been with my channel for a while, you'll know that I usually upload on Mondays and Fridays. But recently I've been thinking that I want to try and do 3 uploads a week instead of just 2. But I want to take to here on YouTube, since you guys are the ones that watch my videos diligently, and see what your opinion is on that, because I would really like to push myself to do 3 videos a week instead of just the average 2 that I've been doing. But of course I want to know your feedback. So if you figure that's a good idea, let me know down below. Also, if you have any other suggestions for tutorials or video ideas, then of course leave me the comments as well. So let's get on to the tutorial.
I don't wanna miss a beat.
Okay, so I'm first just going to put on some jams before we get started. Don't mind me. So first thing, I'm going to use my Nivea Men Aftershave Balm as a primer and be patting this all over our skin. This gets nice and tacky, so wait for that until you are ready to put on your foundation or whatever is next, and don't mind me dancing. So then I'm going to take my Anastasia Light Contour Cream Kit, and I'm first going to be placing the darkest shade, which is Mink, along our jaw, why do I always say jaw? Oh my god, this is in the last tutorial too. Along our cheekbone area. Now, instead of pointing it down towards the corner of our mouth, we're going to be curling it upwards, at least for me, because Natalie Halcro has this nice plump cheek area, so to mimic that, we're going to just round off our cheeks. Also, make sure to place this dark color along the jawline, and also take a good amount and start to really bronze up and darken up near the hairline. They have this really intense bronziness along her hair, and I say they because this is also applying to her cousin Olivia Pearson. They both have the same style of makeup, and it's always really bronzed up on the forehead and really bright in the center of the face. I'm also taking that Mink shade and using this as our nose contour as well, and instead of running it alongside both sides of our nose, just like evenly up and down like how we usually do, I'm actually just going to focus this onto the center part of it, just to give our nose a pinched look to mimic hers. I'm also just going to take this along the lip area to give it a nice plump look. I know it looks super weird, just, you know, try not to stare at the mustache. That's what it looks like. Then I'm taking a mixture of the 2 lighter highlighting shades and placing this only underneath our eye area in the triangle, just to help really brighten up this area and to mimic that brightness that she has. And I'm also going to be taking these shades onto the center of her forehead, but keeping it fairly low, because like I said, the forehead is mostly bronzed with just a little bit of highlight. Their highlight is just really focused onto their bottom eye area and the center of their face. I'm also using my finger to place this highlight down the bridge of our nose. For foundation, I'm going to be using the NARS All Day Luminous foundation. I am in the shade Deauville, and you only need a little bit of foundation because it's super pigmented, but what I like to do is pump out at least 2, maybe 3 pumps. I'm feeling crazy, and I like to dot it around the area of my face first. And then taking a damp beauty blender, I'm going to be making sure I really work this into my skin and all over. So if you're an oily skin girl or guy, whatever, and you're going to be using this foundation, this is perfect, but be aware that it's going to give you a dewy look. If you're dry, this actually won't be hydrating enough. So this really is meant for those of us that are oily but still want that nice glow. Then I'm going to be taking my Benefit Boing Concealer in shade 1. This stuff is like industrial. This will conceal just about anything, letting you know that right now. And I'm going to be pressing this onto the bottom eye area and just making sure to again conceal any redness. What I like about these concealers, or this line of concealer, is that they have a little bit of pink or peach undertones, which really help cancel out any under eye darkness. I'm then just taking my beauty blender and going over the edges just so they're not too patchy, and taking a little bit and putting it on the center of my chin and forehead. And then we're going to be using the Sephora highlighting or brightening pen. This is in the shade Radiant Rose. Now I did look it up, and Natalie Halcro actually does use this pen. She uses the more of like a pink highlighting technique underneath her eyes. So this is what we're going to be doing today. And I'm just, again, placing that over. We have placed our concealer and just making sure to fan that out in a upside down triangle, but not going too far down the cheek because we really want to keep that nice strong bronzy contour going on. Also placing a little bit on the center of the forehead and down the bridge of our nose. And then I'm going to be using that same exact beauty blender to blend this all out and work this evenly into our skin. Again, keep it relatively low and focused on the center. Then I'm taking my Ben Nye pretty pink translucent powder, and onto a small fluffy brush I'm going to be precisely placing this right underneath my eye and alongside my nose, but being careful not to go too far out into the highlighting cheekbone area, just because I want our highlight to be super intense, and if you place powder over that you could actually lessen the effect of your highlight, so just be careful. Then I'm taking my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and on a dry beauty sponge I'm going to be packing this onto the bridge of our nose, center of the forehead, and center of the chin. Then just picking up a little bit of that powder onto that same small brush and just lightly going over where we had placed that translucent pretty pink powder, just a tiny bit. Then I'm taking my Hoola bronzer from Benefit, and on a large powder brush just making sure to go back in and really warm up those cheeks. You're also going to be placing this kind of in the area where you would place your blush, so that's how much bronzing we're going to be doing. Also, don't forget to hit your jawline, and also, most importantly, make sure to run this along your forehead or hairline area. Then going into the Anastasia powder contour, I'm taking a Bobbi Brown sheer powder brush and lightly picking up some of the banana highlighting powder and placing that right underneath our eyes. Then again, just resharpening up that nose contour. I'm taking a little bit of fawn and just precisely placing that onto the areas where we want our nose to look pinched, and then also running that along our bottom lip for extra fullness. Then I'm taking a Luxie large angle brush and picking up a little bit of the Java contour powder, and I'm holding the brush upside down so it's going long ways against my face, and just again re-sharpening it up, re-darkening up everything, because you really want an intense bronze, an intense contour. If you guys are familiar with Desi Perkins and Katie from Luster Lux, they had like a joke in one of their last tutorials where they're talking about a bronzer helmet, and even though it's a joke, like that's kind of what we're going to be going for here, is a bronzer helmet. So it sounds funny, but that's what we're doing. So then I'm going to be picking up a little bit of the shimmer cream contour or highlighting powder from the Anastasia kit, and with my finger just pressing this onto our cheekbones, the highest points of our cheek I should say. And then for my highlight I decided to use the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Champagne Pop, and on a Bobbi Brown eye blender brush I am just picking this up and dusting this over our cheekbone, and I mean like literally packing it on. She also rocks a really intense highlight, so I'm layering on a little bit of the Balm Maryloumanizer. I mean, look at this. This is highlighted. Then I'm picking up an eyeshadow brush and just lightly placing that Champagne Pop on the center of my chin, Cupid's bow, and down the bridge of our nose to add some more glow. Her skin is very dewy looking, so you really want to mimic that. I'm blending away that baking we did underneath to clean up the contour, and then I'm taking my e.l.f. blush palette, and I first went in with that more berry toned blush color, but then I decided to warm it up a little bit and I picked up a little bit of that more almond looking one. Then I'm just running some brow gel through my brows because we are all done with powder products, and then I'm going to be bathing in MAC Fix Plus, like really going ham, like really. So kind of fanning that off, letting it dry a little bit. I also used a little bit of the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray as well, and while that's still setting I'm going to be doing the lip color. So I'm first taking the ColourPop Cosmetics Grunge Matte Lippie Stick. This is also part of their 90s throwback collection, and on a lip brush really focusing that on the outer edges of our lip. We're going to be doing a little bit of an ombre lip contour as well. Then taking Anastasia lip gloss in Undressed and placing that on the center of our lips, and then making sure to get that lip brush once again and blend in those edges so we have a nice gradient, and now our lips look nice and full and juicy. So once that is done, we're going to now move on to our eyes. I already have one eye done here, so moving on to the other. I am taking my MAC paint pot in Soft Ochre and making sure to pack this all over our eyelid to cancel any darkness or veins. Then taking a matte ivory shadow. This one is from the Morphe 35O palette, and just pressing this on all over our entire lid. And then picking up a little bit of the Balm Maryloumanizer and just placing this on our brow bone and inner tear duct for a brightening effect. Then taking the Morphe 35K palette, I'm picking up this rosy taupe color. It's also matte on my Bobbi Brown eye blender brush and really buffing this into the crease in circular motions back and forth. Then picking up this matte reddish brown shade and just focusing this onto the outer V of our eye and then going in about 1/3 of the way into the lower lid. Once that's all buffed in, I'm picking up this banana powder or banana eyeshadow color, and this has a little bit of a shimmer to it, and just packing this onto the rest of our lid space that was left untouched. Then taking my NARS Rue Bonaparte eyeliner and just blanking out any redness from our waterline, and then picking up a little bit of that matte brown shade that we use on our outer V and pressing this along our bottom lashes about 3/4 of the way in, and then taking a pencil brush and just buffing that all out to soften it up. Then coating our lashes in some mascara before we apply falsies. This is my favorite mascara, by the way. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex, just in case I never mentioned that before. And then I'm using Dodo lashes. I don't know the styles right off the top of my head yet, but we are double stacking these. I'll list the styles down below. And once we have those popped on, this look is totally completed. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial, and I really feel like I mimicked her makeup look pretty well. So you guys let me know what you think down below. I personally really like this look. It's very fresh. Although it does take a lot of products and steps, it is something that you can say is more of a glam natural look. So I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye guys.